Hello, class. My name is Christian Foreman. Today I'm going to talk about the coronavirus and when it will possibly end. We all have different worries. Maybe we're concerned about whether our housemate's new cough or is just allergies, or we're wondering if we calculated how to stretch, what's left of our cut salaries, right? And so many more. But there's one question. The word is the COVID-19 era, and when will it end? Some moments it feels like the answer is soon or maybe. As of Wednesday, all U.S. states have started to reopen to some extent. Coronavirus vaccine trials are beginning to look promising. We all know someone who has decided it is safe for them to do something we've been avoiding, like travel to shelter at home in a new local or to visit family. And yet we're still seeing thousands and thousands of new cases every day, hundreds and hundreds of new deaths. Most of us still feel anxiety on a daily basis, less so than in March, but more so than we like. So when will the district life with the novel coronavirus end? The reality is we may live with some kind of threat forever. Our current seasonal flu is actually a variant of the Spanish flu, which raged as long ago as 1918, killing 50 to 100 million people worldwide. But the height of our pandemic has to end at some point. And while no one has an actual answer, most agree it depends on two things. When will we reach a medical solution that allows infections to end or diminish, and when our lives can go back to normal? The next few months are a waiting game. One step in the right direction is that certain infection control measures are improving. Worldwide, everyone's trying to iron out supply chain and manufacturing issues. So hopefully, frontline workers will have more access to personal protective equipment and life-saving ventilators. We need to streamline blood and swab test production so that there can be more quality control and the public can keep faith in the effectiveness of testing, says virology and microbiology expert Rodney Roode, a PhD, a professor at Texas State University, says. According to Roode, who has spent more than 2 decades dealing with infectious disease outbreak like West Nile virus and SRAS, the medical end of the pandemic depends on three things: scientists developing an effective vaccine that can protect a large number of the global population, higher than 60%, manufacturers finding an effective way to mass produce and deliver said vaccine to people around the world. Time for the global population to build a natural herd immunity so the virus doesn't have enough novel hosts to continue infecting large numbers at once. According to the World Health Organizations, there are more than 100 vaccine projects in development right now and 8 in actual clinical trials. One of the most promising formulas is from Moderna, who just announced early but positive results from the first phase of their clinical trial. Realistically, we're looking at summer or fall of 2021 for the protection to be ready, Rhodes says. As for then delivering the formula, he explains if the U.S. can ramp up their preparations to mass produce and deliver while the vaccine is being developed, the formula could actually be rolled out to Americans along the same timeline of fall 2021. Even with a vaccine, herd immunity is still important. The formula likely won't protect 100% of people, and 100% of people certainly won't get the vaccine. Typically, you need 60 to 80% of the people to have been exposed, and have fought off the virus or gotten vaccinated for herd immunity to be effective. Road predicts that could take a full 2 years. That idea is supported by a recent study in Science, where Harvard researchers reported that with countries going in and out of social distancing and lockdowns over the coming months, we're looking at 2022 to build enough of the population immunity. That means spring 2022 is most likely the earliest we'll have both widely available and effective vaccine for the virus and a dominant worldwide immunity to further stunt the spread. Why a vaccine might take longer. Now there are a few potential kinks. A second wave of outbreaks in the fall of 2020 could slow progress, since going back into quarantine means a potential disruption in production and manufacturing. Rode points out in the timeline of the herd immunity is based on the assumption that our resistance to the virus will last longer than a year, which we really don't know about. Can the weather slow down infectious even before a vaccine is ready? There have been a lot of talk about cases mellowing for the summer and then numbers reassuring in the fall, but Rose says it is unclear if we'll see anything with the virus. Many of our common colds, which are also coronaviruses, show up year round, he points out. When will we actually be back to normal? Here's the bad news. Life will probably never be normal again. Much like our country, never the same after 9/11. It won't be the same after COVID-19, except the shift will be worldwide. You might have to take a blood test before you're allowed to board a flight, have your temperature checked before you enter an office, eat with a plastic divider between you and your date. Waiting for your pre-corona life to return sets up for a disappointment. You're much better off adapting to the new reality than fighting it. Our brains perceive new threats as the scariest, so that fear wanes over time as people live in it. Thank you for your time. I really hope we can get COVID controlled and we can go back. We can maybe try to go back to our normal lives and just everyone just social distancing. Thank you.